There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can roll the image, make it flutter. We can change the focus to a soft blur, or sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your television set. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to
Yes, good evening, guys. I'm your host, Jarvis Corner. With me tonight, I have my friend Stu Wally, and this is Jarvis's Corner on Mufc Realist TV. Oh, I have something on in the background. I hear myself. Give me 2 seconds.
I can't hear you, but I can hear you fine, but I can't hear you double, which is good.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's here. I put an extra browser up, so it was in the background.
That'll teach you.
Yeah.
That'll teach you. Amateur mistake.
It's amateur hour. Sorry.
It is. Amateur hour on Jarvis's Corner.
Yes. Welcome to Jarvis's Amateur Hour. Yeah, guys and girls and people in the house. Good to see you all. We have people here in the house already. I see Neil Driscoll, yes. Shay, Arsenal, the Normal T channel with Riley Taylor. Big up, Riley Taylor. And we have who else? Jamie Wayne is here. It's Timmy. Timmy. Always big up Timmy and the legend herself, Stephanie Griffith. Yes. We all know. Always asking.
Always clear
helping.
That's it.
Yes.
Stephanie Griffith.
Yes, it's Monday. It's 9 p.m. It's time, or we are a couple of minutes late. Sorry about the delay, but me and Stu, we sit in the back room and start chatting, and time flies.
Yes.
That's the way it is. And my son is calling me. Give me 1 second. Stu, can you say hello to the people in the chat room?
I will indeed. Yes. Big hello for myself. We were a bit late. We were just talking about a few bits and pieces, in the back room. Kind of a little bit about what's currently going on at the club, what's currently going on in football. So we'll cover all of that, no problem at all. Lee Ball is in the house. Good to see you. Lamar France is also in the house, which is great. Mr. B. I love that smiley face, haven't you, from Mr. B. Brilliant. And Dave Porter is in the house. Good to see you, Dave. Hope you're well.
Okay, I'm back. It was my son actually asking for more time on the iPad.
Oh, no. Get to bed.
Go to sleep.
Come on, go to sleep. Come on.
Well, in his excuse, they have the day off. They have school off tomorrow and Wednesday. So.
Well, in that case, then anything.
Not school night. Yeah. I'm not the worst dad in the world,
No. How's the snow in Norway?
Yeah, well, actually now it's like 20 centimeters of snow, not too bad. -3 degrees outside, but it's getting cold. Wednesday, Thursday, it's going to be -25 degrees.
I believe that's terrible. I believe we've got snow in some parts of the UK tonight, and maybe where I live tomorrow. So that'll be quite interesting to see. Hopefully not.
How's the roads in the UK when you get snow? Are they even driving?
Look, if we get a millimetre of snow in the UK, it's chaos. It's truly chaos. We're just not used to it, so we're not prepared for it. We get like a smatter in the gritters. We have gritters go out, and they coat the road with salt. It's very, very strange in the UK. It's not like you lot land a plane in 20 centimeters of snow. We shut the airports with, I think the guys in the chat will tell me, about 1 millimeter of snow. We shut our airports. We can't cope with it. We're not very good with. Although we're quite a damp and miserable country in the winter.
Yeah.
Most of the year, actually, snow is a killer for us. It just stops us in our track. So,
I'm interested in hearing the people in the VAR room where you are about in the world, and do you actually have snow or winter time and the temperature? So feel free to share, because where I'm from in the world, you have 6 months of winter, 1 month of spring, and 4 months of summer, and one month of fall. So it's almost winter or summer all the time. So I see Neil Driscoll come in snow not where I live, Devon.
Oh, so it's the snow. It's not snowing in Devon. No, Devon's beautiful.
Devon, that's what do you have? Devon, that's Exeter, or the area around there.
That's way that's way down. So you got Somerset, Devon, and then you've got Cornwall. So Devon and Cornwall in particular are beautiful places. They really, and part of Somerset, they've got certain areas. But I tell you something. There's a place called Cheddar Gorge, which is at the topish side of Somerset, and that's just divine. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
Jarvis excuses for his bad golf handicap. 6 months old. That's actually true.
I thought your handicap was improving. You did say
it is. The other day I went. We have a simulator, the golf simulator. So I do some winter training practice, but it's not the same. It's more like a PlayStation thingy. So yeah.
Oh dear.
But you get to practice your swing at least.
Yes. What Mr. B says, does Colombian snow count? Who knows?
No, it's not. No.
Who knows?
And people always say Canada is cold, but beautiful outside here. We're way above zero and has not had any winter whatsoever. Yeah. Wow. Maybe it's a climate change. I don't know if you believe in climate change. It's another discussion, but yeah, something is going on. And I would say the winter up here in north, actually not the same as it used to be in the 80s and the 90s when I was growing up. We have minus 20 degrees for 3 days, then it's suddenly raining for 3 days, then you have 10 degrees of snow, all the snow disappears, then it starts snowing for non-stop for 5 days. So it's always shifting. It's more to the extreme, and this is how I see it. Yeah. So
we snow with us. It like comes in one clump, and that's it. After that, good night, Vienna.
Mm-hmm.
It just it's not
knock, Stu. Knock.
Yes, it's terrible. Well, let him in then. Let him in.
Knock. Who's there?
It's the snow.
Big up, buddy. Big up.
Good evening. It is.
Big up. So, how's the weather in Manchester? I heard Noradin said it was pretty cold outside.
Oh, it's cold. Yeah. I saw a polar bear driving the bus. I saw a penguin riding the tram. We're not there yet, but yeah, we'll be getting there soon enough. We're supposed to have a blast tonight from the Antarctic. So it may be on higher ground, but it's a little bit cold outside. And Saturday's supposed to be
Tatooine yet. Tatooine,
I think Saturday a lot of fixtures may be called off.
Oh,
possibly. Yeah,
it's supposed to be a bad blast this weekend. So lower league matches may suffer, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Well, but not Premier League. It will go on. The show must go on. Manchester.
You'd be surprised, mate. Hey, Avram's first game in charge at Ipswich. Match postponed due to snow. You won't surprise me.
Yeah, you won't be able to get there.
It's down in Suffolk. Where the firearms and all that, Angular.
It's East Anglia. So East
Anglia, yeah, it's Ipswich way.
Ipswich.
I've been around there.
Go down
it's low. It's low. And it takes forever to get. I've been on holiday around there.
Again, beautiful place. They got at the top of East Anglia. They've got the Norfolk Broads, which is like a beautiful kind of river. Well, river. It's like kind of a canal cruise type thing. And it's
Great
really
Yarmouth.
good. Great Yarmouth down there. Yeah, you got a lot of American Air Force bases based Ipswich way.
Yeah, through Lincolnshire as well.
It's
weird. You can actually drive past the military base
on
the open road through Lincolnshire.
Yes, you can.
I drove right past it on my way on holiday down there the last couple of years, and it's like, wow, it's like easily.
I got a bit of a story to tell about that, Mr. Tate, because many moons ago, when I may or may not have been working at Jaguar Land Rover, I got a VIP trip to Scampton, and I met the Red Arrows, and went through their training base and their cockpits, and they showed us how to develop all the. I do have some pictures somewhere. I have to dig them out one day and show you them. But yeah, so I met the Red Arrows. It was a while ago, and they've obviously changed. But I was lucky enough to do that.
I've seen the Red Arrows when I was 10 years old. They buzzed Manchester. Buzzed Manchester. I went to Manchester Airport to watch him. Then on the way home, they buzzed. I remember I was with my mum. I was with my brother, and I was only about 10, and my brother's about 3. They buzzed the city centre. They buzzed the area around Manchester City Centre and the local areas, and then with the vapor trail and all that, and it was quite cool. And you remember that when you're 10 years old? Yeah,
you would. Yeah, it's amazing. Do you know their practice jets are black?
Really?
Yeah, not many people know that. But well, unless you're Red Arrow and you've been around there. But yeah, their practice jets are black. But the Red Arrows themselves, they're years old. The planes, they're about 40, 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
The planes, but
they're not an F-22 Raptor, are they? No.
Or a Stealth, whatever they're called. Yeah, no.
F-35 is the new one. That's the new one. That's the.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. They're getting this technology from. I've seen the UFO, the classified thing in America last week. Apparently, there is a big place off California where the great white sharks swim. And there's an alien base under there, so I think Donald Trump will expose that.
Fully enough, Jarvis has just built that in Lego, so he's fully aware of that particular base you're talking about, aren't you, pal?
All right, okay, fair
Area 51.
That's out in Utah, supposedly. Utah way, I think. It is Utah, Andy. Somewhere like that.
What? Nevada desert. Nevada is outside LA.
It's Vegas, it's Nevada.
Nevada. Yeah. Tara Wade comes in and say Andy is a member of the Area 51 secret cult.
Wow. You can't divulge that, unfortunately, Trev. You can neither confirm or deny.
Yeah, I got a phone call the other week from somebody in Washington saying they were making a comeback, so I might as well join in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. He's rinsed me on the Red Arrows, Trev.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. I mean, alas, the Arrows were never the same again. They all went to the opposite direction. Thank you, Mr. Wade. Strong start to the evening, pal. Strong start to the evening.
Guys.
Welsh Girl's just come in, by the way. Can't wait for some.
Big up, Welsh Girl. Big up. Welsh Girl 68.
Lovely.
Farnborough Air Show. Yeah, Farnborough Air Show, I believe. Yes.
Miles away from. Are you ready to start?
Yeah, sorry.
On the football, or
I'm going to be in a world of pain.
Chitty chatty, 13-14 minutes of chitty chatty. That's enough for me.
Chitty bang bang.
So the first topic I wanna go into that's about the youth and youth development under Amorim. We also, I don't know if you guys saw the interview with Amorim, the recent one, when he talked about the club and his vision for the club, and I'm just gonna share this for you to read. I can read it out so we know what we're talking about. Where is it? Here it is. So this came in from on Twitter the other day. So in recent months, Erik ten Hag always wanted to remind everyone that young players like Mainu, Garnacho, Højlund, etc. needed time and patience to develop. But for Ruben Amorim, the vision is that if you're a Man United it means you should be ready to be a United player. It doesn't want to hear about time. You have to take the responsibility. So it's quite an what do you call it? An direct approach, an aggressive approach. He demands a lot from the youngsters, and he wants them to be ready right away while they are getting the chance at the first team. So we know the tradition of Man United. We have had a long tradition in always having academy players on the at least in the squad for over, is it 50 years now, or is it more?
Oh God, every year for 50 plus years, yeah. Pretty much every year. Yeah.
So it's an incredible stat. Now we have Ruben Amorin coming in. He had 21 teenagers debuting for Sporting in his 3 years at the club. So he has quite an excessive CV when it's about bringing from youth. Do you think his approach can work at Man United, and is it the right approach in the way he says it? Because he say you should be ready to be a United player. He doesn't want to hear about time. He's not giving them time. They have to take responsibility right away. Stu.
Yeah, look, anybody who's watched our show, watch me, watch you, watch Andy, watch Tom, we've all said repeatedly that if you sign for Manchester United, then you're ready to play for Manchester United. We've always said that. And I think that's even been fair, you know, when you look at the early 80s with the likes of Norman Whiteside, 17-year-old came in to play for the club. Wayne Rooney, you know, in the year 2000s. There have been players at a young age that have come in and have demonstrated an ability to be regular first-team players. We look so far, KB Maino and Garnacho have come in and demonstrated they are ready for first-team action. Whether there's a consistency level to them, different story, but they're ready for first-team action. So I guess the question is, should we be fearful of what Amorim's trying to do, or should we really get behind him and because that's what we want Amorim to do? And I'm kind of on the thing is, I like what he's saying, but you know as well as I do, and me and Andy, we're all of us are long in the tooth when it comes to seeing different managers sit in front of a microphone and tell people what they want to hear rather than what they need to hear. I think Amorim's done a bit of both. I think he's talking about what we need to hear, and we need to hear that kind of philosophy, so to speak, of youth should be ready, and you know, and youth. You know, if I call on Amos, then I expect a level of performance from Amos if he comes into the team. We're just using it as an example. So what really interests me more than anything is, and I guess this is a question on all our lips as fans, will he be able to replicate what he's done in Sporting to bring to Manchester United? Now, the thing that I took most out of his interview, Jarvis, and I'm going to give myself a bit of kudos here. Because, and Andy's been on the stream with me when I mentioned it, because he looked at me quizzically when I said it. But I've always said to you, Jarvis, formations aren't the be-all and end-all of football.
100%, yeah.
And I've always said that to you. You know I have. And I know Andy, well, that's why he looked at me quizzically, Andy. You may or may not remember the conversation, but it was on a stream with Jarvis Corner. And I said it's all about how the players interpret the game. And I stood by it. So I was kind of like chuffed in a way. And I had a bit of a wry smile when I saw what he read. He says, you can talk about a 4-3-3, 3-4-3, 3-5-2, 4-4-2. Yep. But it's the players. Can the players adapt to certain things with me? And then you mentioned a while ago, Jarvis, a couple of weeks ago, when you were talking about the sweet spot in a particular area of the pitch. And I reminded you that there's nothing, I didn't say it quite like this, so I'm going to be a bit more blunt tonight, so don't take any offence. But I said it's nothing new because it was employed by Marianne Fellaini and our good old friend Louis van Gaal. And he goes, fuck yeah. And you just remembered that, you know, that being. Yeah. So what I'm really excited to see And I should be still upset, by the way, if and I've listened to leaks coming out already. KB Mino apparently said, "Wow, what a refreshing training session," and all that kind of stuff. Which you're going to expect. You're going to get these leaks. It's happened with England at the moment, isn't it? With league on, Southgate was useless. It was too regimented, and Eric Ten Hag was too regimented.
Yeah.
So it's time for these players to kind of like stand up, be counted, as we've all asked for. But to really, really now show their true worth. And if a Harry Amas or a Collier, or Andy knows more about the under 21s and under 18s than I do, so he'll have a much better idea. But our current striker, the one who's scoring the goals, the Arsenal lads.
Yeah, Arsenal, yeah. I've seen a couple of his goals.
Obi Martin, no, yeah.
Well, yeah, with something like that. We've got Kone as well. We've got all these players. And if our first 11 or some of them aren't delivering, then please bring them in. And I've got absolutely no issue with it, Jarvis. And I'll applaud him for doing it. Because we can't live in the past anymore. Manchester United from 2013 and up until 2013, from 93, 94 is gone. We're not that club anymore. We're a different type of club, and so I would applaud him. I would welcome it, and I've always said, if you play for Manchester United at whatever level, if you've been signed for Manchester United at whatever level, and everybody knows I have because I'm like a broken record, then you should be ready, prepared to play at the level as expected by Andy, myself, you, and everybody. Person in the VAR room and anybody else that spends their hard-earned money to walk through those turnstiles and do it. So I loved his interview to an extent, but some of it you'd expect, but there's a lot of it I was really pleased about. It didn't seem PR'd to me too much. There was a little bit PR in it. It didn't seem.
Yeah. I agree on that because Ten Hag said something when he came in. Errors come to an end. It's PR. Yeah, there's a little bit of PR in it. Yeah,
there was a little bit of PR in it, but you'd expect that. But a lot of it, I could kind of understand. So I'm really looking forward to Sunday. I really am. I don't get excited too much, as you well know. I'm looking forward to Sunday. It's going to be a really difficult game. And Andy touched on this last week, actually, because Ipswich got their first win. So it'll be a really difficult game. And I just hope that we don't have a false dawn for 6 games and we have this consistency. But I'm excited to see what he can do. I believe we've got the finest young coach in European football, possibly world football. We seem to have a lot of younger backroom staff. I mean, two of them are 28 and 29 years of age, aren't they?
Yeah, the new coaches of Amorim, yes.
Yeah, I think the goalkeeper is isn't he about 60 or something like that?
16, yeah.
No, I don't know, but I am really, really looking forward to Sunday. I'm going to watch, and I just hope it's not a false dawn. But no, I think if you're good enough, old saying, if you're good enough,
you're old enough. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Matt Busby said that.
He did. Yeah, he did.
The legend himself. But Andy, do you see there's a difference in approach from Amorin than Ten Hag had? Maybe Ten Hag was a little bit more cautious. He wanted to wait until they were ready. I don't know how you see if a youngster is ready. I heard several things how you can develop a youngster. Sometimes you just have to take them off guard and just throw them in there and they will perform. And some of them respond because they need time to prepare it. It depends on the individual in a way. So
I'll give you an example. I seen Jay from the paddock today. I watched their 4:00 show, and he gave a prime example. Even though this is Phil Folding. He was brought in. He made 6 or 7 appearances during one season, and he was getting a couple of minute cameos. Then it gradually developed into 20 minutes. A couple of games. He played about 20 games a season. and that's the way to bleed them in and bring them in. You can't burn them out. You cannot burn out players. You play them, rotate, rest. Play them, rotate, rest. But with ours, we've constantly, we've overplayed Menu, we've overplayed Garnacho, and that's what I mean. A manager will need to know, and I'm sure he will know, when to play them, when to rest them, and with the other youngsters. Because if you look at it now, international break's gone now, done. We have 4 months of constant football, 2 games a week. We've got Carabao Cup. We've got what's left of the Europa program as well. So I'm sure the youngsters.
Something like that.
Yeah, we've got Ipswich, we've got Everton, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, all thrown with Tottenham in the cup.
City, we got City.
Yeah. So everything going right through to the FA Cup 3rd round. So you got about 9-10 games there. So everybody, I would say, will be looked at. And like you say, if the new lad from Arsenal, I mean, what a time that would be to play him against Tottenham. And to really rough on the Spurs, and he's an Arsenal lad.
He scored 6 goals, hasn't he, already? He's only played 3 games, hasn't he? Hasn't he scored about 6 or 7 goals or something? Nuts.
He scored a 16-minute hat-trick.
Hat-trick, didn't he, on his debut?
Did you guys see the video of Obi Martin? He had the shot on goal, and the ball was rolling right in front of goal, and it was going to go into the goal, and one of the other players came and just tapped it in. And Obi Martin, he was so pissed. He didn't even want to celebrate. He was like,
so he should be
faced.
It was not wrong with that. If somebody takes your goal, you're entitled to be naffed off, mate. You're entitled to be naffed off.
God,
he has an attitude, he has an attitude, and I think a great striker need to have some kind of attitude. You have
Ronaldo was like that. I've seen Ronaldo scored a fantastic goal for Portugal. Yeah, he took on everybody and scored a goal. And guess who spoilt it? Nani, because he tapped it in.
He did.
Nani tapped it in. Did. Ronaldo lost his shit with Nani for Portugal. It was a qualifier, and he just lost his shit. And he took on about 4, 5, 7 players, and he scored. And Nani's like, oh, goal anger. You know what I mean? So I've seen that example at what Stu said. So I think the manager will do wisely. He'll work with everybody. All them players now need to be scared, and I hope they are scared. No favoritism. No, you're playing because you're named. You're a big name. So everybody needs to be fit to fear the manager, and that's what I want. I want a manager with total control. Well, I've got to play him. No, you know what I mean? So I just want fear in this squad. But it's fresh. It's like, you know what I mean? You will be dropped. There's somebody going to replace you if you don't play. Then the next player comes in. Oh, you're doing okay. Then you dropped again. Okay, other chance for the other player. So that's what I want. I just want competitive positions with all players, even the goalkeeper. Even a goalkeeper. I want, even though he's been doing well, like I say, be afraid. Be very afraid.
You should be. I mean, I know players, and if I haven't been playing for whatever reason, I'm looking at the squad. Bastard, I'm not in again, so I'm fucking sulking for 2 days, and then on Saturday the game, I'm watching it. Andy, this is bad, by the way. Everyone in the VAR room, and I apologise, but this is my mentality. Oh, he's down. He's got fucking injured. Brilliant. I'll get my fucking top off. He's out for 3 weeks. Fucking excellent. You don't want him to be out for 3 weeks, by the way. But your selfishness allows you to play, so you don't care. It's terrible. But
I think if anybody has that mentality, January, you will be shipped out or maybe transferred on, loaned out. I don't care who you are. It's like that. There could be no player power anymore.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. He has to get the culture right. The culture needs to be right, and he has time. And I think we will look past the results and look for, at least I will look for style, identity, I would like to see
progress
in a way.
At what point of the season do you expect us to have a style of play by the end of this January? You'll see little inklings of it. That's what I want by the end of January.
To be honest, I don't know. I don't quite know, because I just want to see progress. I want to see us improve. There was a news article out today on was it the Times? No, it was the Telegraph. They came out with this one. Ruben Amorim to work with modest budget as Man United aim to end transfer churn. So I don't think we are going to sign anyone this January. I heard the loan deal with the
we get this every January, though. We get this every January. We got Valvegos one season, didn't we? Yeah. So we get this. This is just media. This is why I don't trust and listen to the mainstream media anymore.
James Tucker, he's somewhat reliable, but he's not a top tier. But
the thing about that, Jarvis, is you've got a 50-50 chance of being correct. So as a journalist, you'll take the gamble. It's not like you've got a 20% chance of being right. You've got a 50% chance of being right or wrong on this. And I'm with Andy on this. I think
24 hours ago we were signing Paul Pogba.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think you'll see
absolutely BS at its finest.
Yeah,
you smell it from here.
You'll see some kind of movement. I think if we can't get Malacia fit and we can't get Shaw fit, you're going to see some kind of movement at the left back. I would say, whoever it may be.
He did a full 45 at Huddersfield. Well done on the lad. I hope he
plays well by all accounts. Yeah, so just hope he gets more. I agree. And I've seen. I've heard the likes of Martinez has come back early. He was given 2 weeks off. He wants to come back early and train. The lads deserved a week off last week. They should have had a week off last week. I saw on Twitter in particular. They're looking at certain players went to training, certain players were in America. I don't want to dwell on all that because I don't care. So they need that time off. Fergie was an absolute master of understanding when a player was in the so-called red zone, and he just tell everybody he's injured. He's got a slight injury. He wasn't. He was off in South Africa or somewhere halfway across the world resting up. And that's Amorin looks to be that type of manager. He looks that he could do something like that.
Oh yeah. I'm sure Ineos will have briefed him of these players.
Exactly right.
Player power. Ineos are aware of this. They won't. They will try to deal with it, and they'll give the manager the power to make the changes if needed, and kick out any people who are not with the project going forward.
Yeah, as for the style of play, Jarvis, what you were talking about, and I'm kind of with Andy in a way. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of a style of play, Jarvis.
No, it's more about attitude for me. I think you have to have the right. Amorim has mentioned this. He wants the place with the right attitude.
The attitude first comes. I think you're right there, Jarvis. The attitude's got to come first.
Exactly.
You get the attitude, you get the performances, then you get the smiles. Everybody pulling together, and it's got to be maintained.
Yeah, I've often described the style of play. Is passing from A to B to C to D to E to F to G until because that's what football is, from passing from A to B. And people can interpret a style of play anyway. We can all look at a 3-4-3 and interpret that way completely differently. I could interpret it as a 3-5-2. Andy could see it as a 4-2-2-2. You could just completely interpret it, because one of the beautiful parts of football is when you're watching a game from the stands, as Andy and my lad do week in, week out, and me and you watching it through the eyes of a screen, is that you still get under eights football to occasion, and you know what I mean. You see all 4 or 5 players migrate to the left because the ball's over there, and then they go into the middle because the ball's over there, and this is what happens. And I defy anybody to turn around and say, well, actually, they're in a 3-4-3 system, because at that point in time, they're not. They're just in a system. What I always look for when it comes to football, and I've said this, is interpretation of the game while it's evolving in front of you. So when you guys are talking about mentality, I like mentality, but understanding what's happening out there and not having to look over your shoulder and look at Amorin, and Amorin's doing all of this. You should be concentrating on what you're doing. That's the key for me. I want to be able to see our players unpick a lock during the game and not require any kind of guidance, because they should be able to, demonstrate an ability to be able to do that. And that's how I look at it. So to me, that's the style of play, is being able to do that. So
I see Mick comes in. Big up Mick in the chat to say, Mick here, Amorin mentioned he wants intensity to work as a team, and if you do, young talent will develop by the team, and he trying to create a system. So yeah, I agree with that, and it's very interesting to see. But going back to the youngsters, as we mentioned in Man United, they have the culture of bringing the youngsters in. But I see the problem in the last 10 to 15 years. I touched on this yesterday on Noradin's channel, is money. The culture of money is in the club. And a lot of these youngsters, we bring the best talents from all over the world. We talk about Obi Martin. No one has seen him play the men's game. He plays with kids. We see him score a lot of goals. And suddenly he's God's gift to football. We are so excited for him. And the hype is building up. He earns a lot of money. He earns a lot more money than the other 16, 17 years old academy players do. And the pressure, the fame and fortune around him is piling up. And when you get this kind of pressure, you also attract a lot of people, people who wants in on the fame and fortune, advisors, entourage, fans. Everybody's hyping you up all the time. So for me, it's a lot about mentality. Can you be tough enough mentally? Can you be strong enough? Do you have the courage to actually perform when you get the chance? And a lot of these players feel like they already made it before they have played 1 minute for Man United. And I think that's a big problem. We have seen the last 10 years players coming through the academy. For example, Hannibal, so much hype. He came from Monaco, and everybody was expecting him to come into the team and perform. And what happened to him? A lot of these stories goes around in the academy. So I think now it's time for Amorim. I think he wants to put pressure on these guys on the pitch, not only outside the pitch and building expectations, but actually throw them in, let them prove themselves right away. And that's what I like about this, because I think they've been doing it the wrong way. They have been paying them money and not letting them perform.
I'll give you a prime example. I seen, was it Fernandez at Benfica, some of his comments today, and it sounds like that he came from Real Madrid at 16, and now he sounds like he wants to stay and he wants to play football. And I know United have got an option, but from reading the interview, he sounds like, I don't want to go back. I just want to play football. Because if he came back, I don't think he'll get game time. Because and that's the mentality of a good youngster. He wants to play. He just wants to play football. And they say if he's in the Champions League, he could get picked for Spain. He could get a big money move to La Liga in the future. So that's the mentality some of these United youngsters need to have. And they haven't got it at the moment.
I think Martin Odegaard, your compatriot, is a great example of that, Andy. He signed at 15, didn't he, for Real Madrid for 80,000 quid a week. 80,000 pounds a week at 15. It didn't work out for him, did it, at Real Madrid?
No, not at all.
He went away, and now look at the player he is. He's a proper professional. He's a really good player, and we don't have that. You're absolutely right, guys. We thought we were going to have that with Pogba, didn't we? With all that kind of nonsense. And as good a footballer as he was, he went off the rails. And reports came out today about Jadon Sancho again not fitting in at Chelsea because he's a lazy git. You also want to send him back to us, and all that kind of stuff. And this is modernism, in the game. And Ravel Morrison, we all know the quality he has. We all know the quality.
Wasted talent.
Complete wasted talent, you know. Everton had a Danny Cadamartri, didn't they?
Yeah. Ended up at Bradford City.
Phenomenal talent. But he got Jermaine Pennant, phenomenal talent as young players, and clubs allowed them to evolve into absolute morons. I'm sorry to say, and we can't have that. So he did actually, Michael Jordan.
We see a lot of these youngsters actually doing well in other clubs. Angel Gomez, for example, in France, is doing well now. He's at the England international team and national team and doing well. And you know, he's out of contract this summer, and people are talking about they want him back. Angel Gomez.
He's at he's in Italy, isn't he? No, France. Is it Lille? Lille.
I thought it was Olympic, mate. I thought it was the team that got they're going to be relegated, Lens or something like that.
No, he's playing very well by all accounts.
Good. Well, good luck to him as well, yeah.
Yeah. Day147 say, I'm pleased there's no money for Amorim. Let him use what's at his disposal in his new system.
I'm sure
do you think we can utilize this?
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be, like, you work what you got, but if something becomes available as a loan or something, or you can, if somebody comes in with a bid for someone, I'm sure there's a strong possibility there'll be one deal for United. There'll be one deal. We very rarely do. The last time we did anything was Bruno.
Weghorst.
Vegas, but before that,
no, you're talking big Bruno.
Big fee, but I'm sure there'll be like one transfer into United in January. Depends what it is.
Where do you think we need to strengthen? Are we talking left back or striker, center defender, or
both.
Midfielder? What do we need?
We need a left back and a striker.
Yeah.
So if you could solve one of them two in January, so could you get away with it with a striker, or would you go for a left back? I mean, I'll go for another striker if you could get him to the end of the season.
There's no. Sorry, Jarvis.
Yeah, I was just going to say
there's no
that's
Henrik
a
Larsson
transition,
anymore,
but yeah,
there's no Henrik Larssons out there anymore. You know, there's no players that you can grab on even on a loan. You know, just for that tiny period that's going to give you 15 goals that we'll probably need second half of the season, Andy. I know what you mean. I just wonder from a balance point of view, though, would you prefer a left back if we can't get Malacia fit?
Or Luke Shaw as well. So are them two mysteriously going to be fit again for the second half of the season?
Apparently so. Well, Malacia is a bit different, but Luke Shaw in particular, apparently so. And then you've got Mason Mount, which is, you know, his head injury. He's had concussion for about 8 weeks.
Yeah, I think he struggles with something else, but that's a whole nother topic. When it comes to left back, I see young Harry Amas as a potential left back, but the problem is Luke Shaw or Malacia can't be trusted. When you've been out for football for so long, you're bound to have another injury again. I think Luke Shaw and Malacia will come back, play a couple of games, 2-3 weeks. They will be out injured again for 4, 5, 6 weeks. That's just the way it goes, always, because it has to. It's about the balance of the body. You know, if you have been going on one leg for 12 months, the other leg suffers. It's just the way it is.
It does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, no, it does.
I still think it's pretty selfish the way Luke Shaw prioritised England.
100%.
You know what I mean? In the summer, it's like you missed out on the FA Cup final, and all of a sudden you're fit. Like, nah.
Yeah, but Andy, this is the Nuruddin and I talked about this yesterday. It's the Man United culture. We have been having this since Pogba's day. You know, Pogba was always fit when it comes to France, but he was always injured when it came to Man United. We have same with Harry Maguire, for example. He always loved playing for England, but struggled when he was at Man United. So players, they have a time off, like a reset when they went to the national team. I
remember
Cavani, so they prioritize
Manchester derby, and Ronaldo.
Cavani, yes.
Ronaldo missed the Manchester derby, and the next game he's playing. mind-boggling.
Portugal.
I don't know why we have this culture in Man United. I don't know if you guys want to speculate, but it looks like players enjoy going to the national team, but
not anymore.
To Man United.
How many pulled out last week?
Eight.
Yes.
Harry Kane said it's unacceptable. Everyone kicking off. You know what I mean? Well, you can understand like prioritizing the games now. They were sorry, but it was meaningless games over the weekend. Meaningless.
Yeah. I think, yeah, you're talking about left wing back, aren't you? Sorry, perhaps we should have clarified that.
Nah, well, you have to be able to defend your back post.
Yeah.
Even though if you're a wing back, because there's only 3 in the defense. So if you push over to one side and the cross comes, the left wing back needs to be able to defend the back post. It's just the way it is. And we can't use players like Garnacho to defend the back post. He's not.
That's if he plays a 3-4-3.
Yeah, but that's the reality of the formation and how the game goes. So if you play the game, you understand you have to be able to defend the back post. So we can't use full-out wingers, short dribblers who they are not capable of doing this. So we need someone with a couple of defensive bones in their body. I just wanted to say we transitioned a little bit over to this one. The striker Rasmus Højlund is scoring struggles continue. No goals for Denmark in over a year. Can he break the drought under Amorin? And what's the solution when it comes to strikers? Because I think that this has been our biggest problem this season, scoring goals. And we've seen in Amorim's system.
I think for the start, Jarvis, put the ball in the bloody box for him. That would help. You know, I know he's got to learn to be strong. I know people often, you know, be like that Harry Kane player we want him to be. But putting the ball in the box, I think, will be 100% on the boss's radar. You know, you put the ball in the box, I mean, you're going to get a ricochet here and there. It'll fall to it. You know, I mean, that is the fundamental thing of United. Playing with wingers. I mean, like, with a 4-3-3, we've got wingers. You put it on, you put it in the box. Who knows what can happen?
You've got a great example here. I mean, Andy's right there, by the way. You've got to deliver. And there's 2 things before I go on to Højlund. First and foremost, here's a question for you two, and I'd like an answer each from you. Knowing the prowess of Mr. Van Nistelrooy in front of goal, in this current 18 months, 2 years, 3 years teams that we've had, how many do you think in this particular season, then just go for this season, how many do you think Mr. Van Nistelrooy would score? And I would like an answer.
I think with this squad, he'd be lucky to get 15.
10 so far.
I'd love to know from the VAR in, because I'm with you guys. I think anything between 10 to 15. The biggest issue for Højlund is he doesn't run in behind. And I've said this for a while. He doesn't get in behind. So, Jarvis, you said, I think it was last week or the week before, you were talking about Højlund playing on the shoulder, the defender's shoulder, and then we went through how to mark somebody who plays tightly against you, which is brilliant. But the best thing about it is he doesn't spin off. He doesn't use his strength to hold the defender off and spin in around him.
Yeah.
He doesn't look to make diagonal runs in and around him. But on the same token, as Andy is absolutely 100% correct, and I talk about this as well, we don't cross from deep.
Yeah.
So Garnacho will go, he'll come back, he'll go, he'll come back, or he'll go and try and go on his own. Exactly the same as Ahmed. His first thought is, how can I get around the defender, get into the box, and either, which is great play, by the way, try and cause an issue in terms of a penalty or try and then force the issue, get a bit of a cutback crossing. When really, and if you look at the way that Beckham used to play, Stevie Coppell used to play, Giggs used to play, used to try and get around the man, not 100%, just enough to be able to get the space and to put the cross in. And I'd like to see Ahmad and Garnacho do that. But again, the question for you guys is, I don't think they're the right profile of player to do that. They're a bit more attacking minded and a bit more selfish.
Oh, I agree. I mean, because you got to know when they put the ball in the box, at what point do you go into the front near the goal,
Correct.
or do you hang back for the cross? It's all got to be synced together. Garnacho, say crossing it, Rashford crossing it, whoever's crossing it, even Anthony. Bloody hell, I can't believe I'm saying that. But he's got to know when to go to the far post, hang back if he gets a pull back. That's what striking. That's the type of player he needs to be, and he needs to learn that fast.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point as well about which post to go to. If you go front post or near post, as we call it, it could come off anything. Could come off your knee, your back, your ass. It doesn't matter. It's a much more difficult task to convert from the back post, because by the time the ball comes to you, rarely is there enough pace on it for you to be able to do something.
Yeah. I mean, look at that back heel from the England player last week, the Liverpool lad. Gee, if you could have that in your arsenal, try that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Anything's feasible if you're taught and trained well.
Yeah. So if he could go near post or try and do near post. So most of Rude's goals when he was in the 6-yard box were middle to near post.
Yeah.
Rarely do they come at the back. But he scored a good amount from the back post. But it's a much more difficult task to do that. So I would like to see him gamble more and make an attempt to get there. And even if you miss it, so what? Chances are next time you won't miss it. But until you get there, you won't know.
Yeah. It's very interesting when it comes to the striker, and everybody talks about Rasmus Højlund being the Jokenes type of player, and we all expect him to thrive under Amorim. No one said anything else. But for me, I have a different approach. I think one of the players who actually can thrive under Amorim is Rashford. I know people are going to hate me for saying this, but I think Rashford actually can be good under Amorim, because he plays with two number 10s and one striker, and the aim or goal for the striker is not to drop down, receive the ball with the back against the goal, and be the vocal point in the build up. The number 9 is going to run the channels. I can show you this one to explain you how I see it, because this is the famous tactical board. Sorry, guys and girls, if I bore you, but you have two number 10s. So there actually is no space for Højlund to drop into, because we have occupied these spaces when it comes to the system. So the main spot that when you see Højlund a lot of the time, especially drops down to his left to receive the ball. But now the goal, where we aim, because the fullbacks, when we play the 3-4-3 system, as you see here, it's a lot of circles. Sorry, I will remove some of them. It's where should the opposition fullbacks go? Should they go on the wingbacks, or should they go on the number 10s? So usually somewhere in between. They move a little bit higher than usual. They're not in their back line. And this is what Amorim is trying to exploit, because there's so much space in the channel behind the opposition fullbacks. And this is where Jokenes is actually thriving, because he always have deep runs into the channels on both sides. And I see actually Rashford doing well, sprinting in these areas and being part of the play, because then you have Rashford in his favorite position on the edge of the 18-yard box, cutting in. So I think maybe Rashford can be suited for this system. If he don't have to play with his back to his goal. The only thing when I see Rashford's deficiencies is if we play long from Onana and wants Rashford to hold up the play. He's not the guy. But if you play over and he can sprint in behind, he will be perfect. So I see actually Rashford can doing well in this system if he's used correctly. And maybe he's the second striker we need, because I think Højlund will be the main target. But I think Rashford can do a job.
Don't write off Zirkzee yet, mate. You never know.
But he's more of a striker who drops down to receive the ball, and Amorim is not utilizing his striker this way, especially if you can interpret his way when he played in Sporting with Jokenes.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sorry, Andy. Sorry, Pat.
No, just to me now, I think this is Rashford's last chance. He can't be any more chances with this now. He has to perform and just work his socks off. I mean, physically, he looks at the top of his game. He's built. He's doing all right, but he has to be doing it on the pitch now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is his last chance to prove he can. There is a future for him. I'm not meaning in a nasty way. I'm not a fan of him anymore. But he's going to get looked at the next 6-7 months. Like I say, if the manager says X, Y, and Z, and he has to go with it, yeah, it's not worked out, lad. You know what I mean? But if it works, wow, brilliant. He's got his mojo back, but he's got to maintain it. You can't just have a burst 6-7 months, then go quiet again.
Do you know what I see, though? If you put that board back up there, Jarvis, I see a way to evolve and to stop that, because it's not a massively difficult system to stop unless you're working with pace. I mean, you've got 2 and 3 pushed up on the halfway line. You got 4 and 5 pushed up to the centre circle. I think they're probably 10 yards too high in blue from a defensive point of view. They're about 10 yards too high. So I pushed
the ball is here. We are actually playing out from the back.
No. I'm talking about the defence of the blue. So if you push 5 and 4 back 2 yards, that's it. Stagger them slightly. Push 3 to the edge of your kind of area. Yeah, push 3 and 2 there. And 2 there. One of the biggest issues you've got, where you've got the highlighted areas, the circle areas, one of the biggest issues you've got is what the defender does in terms of how he combats 10 and 11. So ideally, their position is correct. They're kind of parallel, virtually in line with the edge of the box, with the 18-yard area on both sides. So they're actually situated perfectly from a defensive point of view. So if you push the 3, push it back to the edge of draw a line from the 3 all the way to the edge of the 18-yard box. That's it. He's perfectly in line. Look at what he can do. He can migrate right. He can migrate left. A really good, solid number 2 or number 3 will back up another 5 yards. So he's in the darker shade of the stripe. So that when Diallo or when Bruno or anyone attacks, he's in a much more period. And this is what I talk about evolving during the game and understanding and reading the game. When you're talking about our attacking system, I'm looking at the defensive side and what would I do to combat that. And that's why I love football so much.
But you do see the dilemma here with the wing back, with the number 10. 100%. Where is the opposition fullback going to?
Yeah, so out of possession. Yeah, so out of possession. If we were out of possession, I would drop 3 back into the shaded line. Same with 2. Keep going back, keep going back, keep going. There and there. Yeah. Drop 5 slightly deeper as well, and allow 4. That's it. And I would just drop into that system, so that it's difficult, by the way, Jarvis, when you've got turnover. If they've got the ball at 10, for example, whoever it is, and we turn it over with Delict, then it's one quick ball out. You've got to be on your back foot. And that's all I talk about, and it's just all it was, Jarvis. It was just an explanation to reading the game of football. That's all that was. I was just demonstrating.
But a lot of goals from Sporting and Amorim is the striker running into these channels.
But and this is, I always talk about position of Dalot, don't I? A lot. He doesn't really occupy that position. And if you do run Bruno out wide, just as an example, push Bruno out wide to the left, and Diallo as well to the right. They're perfectly positioned to move Diallo to the byline and stop him cutting on in his favourite. And that's what you've got to do sometimes. So that's why I always talk about evolution in football, Jarvis, and how I see the defensive side. I just sort of mention it. I'm not saying the system doesn't work. I'm just giving you a
Time will show. Time will show. You know, when it comes to this system, but as I see potential for Rashford to excel in this system. I see it because I don't see him. I don't see him used as a fullback.
I understand what you're talking. What did you think of that system?
Big up, Nuruddin. Maybe we can. I don't know if you caught the last tactical approach when it comes to Rashford running the channels in behind as Jokenes did. Do you think it's possible for Rashford to thrive under Amorim's system? Because I don't see him doing it on the wings as a wing back, and it's no number 10.
Yeah, big up everybody. Big up Andy. Big up Stu.
Big up
the chat. Smash a like on the video. Obviously, I think players need to be convinced. I do agree with Andy that Rashford and a lot of the players is their last chance. This is their last chance.
100%.
In this football club. And I don't think it's just Rashford. There's a lot more in there, a lot more. Yeah. I always think that in the traditional way that strikers played, Rashford always struggled. He struggled being in the centre. He struggled centre-halves coming against him. He struggles with all of those
it's
stuff.
No vocal point. That is problem.
Yeah. He struggles with all that. I know that Amorim uses strikers and the strikers quite differently. And they do that vertical runs into the channels. So it's going to be very interesting. But to me, if it can be coached, for me, it's about, you know, whether this team, a lot of these players can be, what's the word I'm looking for? Coaching to a system so they know exactly what they're doing. And if they don't want to do that.
Drilled.
Drilled. It's not just drilled. It's
motivated.
It's not motivated. It's not the word. We had it on Saturday TV earlier today. It was basically, he had rankings of all these different things. He had key player adaptation or orientation, something like that. That means that the players absorb the way that the system wants to go, the way the manager wants to go. So it's almost kind of been reformed. They all become born again. System players.
You buy into a system, because I've seen that. I've seen that with the players with Pep at City. They buy into this system, and this is what the United players need to do.
Exactly. So that is the biggest thing what we need to see, and it's their last chance for a lot of them. Transformed. Transformed. That's the word. Big up Nash. Transformed. Can they be transformed into this system? And are they, the biggest things, are they willing and are they happy to be transformed? Because for me, transformed, once you're transformed to that, you become a key player. You become a key player. That's the next step up, is that you are becoming a key player for this manager's way. And I always have to stress this for people. In 146 years, I think, or 45 years of Manchester United history, it's the first time we've employed a coach, a first-team coach. He's not the manager. Ineos are the manager. Omar, Ashworth, Wilcox, Dodgy Dave, and the rest of the quarter-sexuals are in charge of the football club. Dodgy Dave and the quarter-sexuals are in charge. They're in charge of the managing. So if these players are not, if Amorim says, no, he doesn't get it, they have to deal with him. That means then the man, if you don't like you coach, you understand in the dressing room. When we had one problematic player in our dressing room, even the Saturday, Sunday league, it took away from the instructions and the focus from the coach to what to tell us. Now, in Sunday, that's why you had to have a really good number 2. Well, he's dealing with some guy who's sulking or whatever. We then need the focus. And now, because we've got this management of Wilcox, Maparada, or do they block? All these guys, they need to deal with these players. When Amorim says, this person, you go see it to their office, mate. You don't have to come and see me. I've tried to install these ideas into you. The data doesn't show, the way you're training, the way you're playing doesn't show. Go and see the guys in suits. They'll tell you what to do. And that is what we need in this football club. Because the only way he's going to succeed, and a larger point, is that if we create a competitive training ground atmosphere and a competitive training sessions where we used to have under Fergie, where Fergie would have a wink at somebody and go smash somebody to get the energy up, and everybody will be then of that. We've not had that for 12 years. We've not had competitive training. I'm talking about 8 against 8, 9 against 9. And the thing about Amorin, he'll step in. He's played every position on the football pitch other than a goalkeeper or a striker, like he said.
Yeah. It would be, I tell you what, it would be nice if Amorin smashed a few of them on the training pitch. You know what I mean? Just to get, ruffle a few feathers, so to speak. Make the players want to play. He's serious. He's just cropped me and smashed into me.
It just reminds me of Cluffy, that does. Cluffy used to do that all the time, Cluffy. Pull on his boots and, crack into a play.
Just to answer your question, Jarvis, I believe everything's possible if you're willing to learn. Everything is possible on a football pitch. If you're willing to adapt and willing to curtail your game and willing to keep trying and working really hard. And anything in sport, people, anything in sport, it's about repetition. It's about being drilled. It's about taking personal responsibility and concentration and doing the extras within your own game to get better.
Exactly. This is where half the United squad didn't want to know last season. It just did not want to know taking the personal responsibility. They have to take it seriously. I mean, take Casemiro 6 months ago, like the Crystal Palace game, absolute stinker playing at Liverpool start of the season as well. But look at him now. He's playing. He gives a toss. Whether 6 months ago, he was dropped for the FA Cup final, and there was rumours he was out. He was going. So it's like a player. Oh, I can't be asked. Oh boy, I've got to pull my weight now. This is where it's got to be constantly, every day. The build up to a week, you have to have the fear of God. Am I going to make this? Am I going to be in this squad midweek? Am I going to be in this squad this weekend? You know what I mean? I'm dropped. What have I done wrong? You can't be just like that. Throw a hissy fit. You've got to be. Everyone has to be competitive now.
Yeah, and they need to be humble. Be humble. You don't have a God-given right to play for Man United.
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
to perform every
be
time.
Humble, be friends, be like you say, but be competitive with your friends, your teammates. Because if you're moaning and you're not, and you're bad apple, you don't, you rock the boat, mate. Everyone's gonna you'll be cast out. Everyone's got to be thinking from the same page, and that's what we need to see.
And that's why I think that's why Andy, in his statement, he said clearly, and he looked into the camera actually when he said that. He said, "I will defend my players against anybody and everybody."
Seriously.
And he said
no. I don't agree on that, no, mate. I don't.
No. Let me finish. No, let me finish. That was his way of saying, "Look, this is the fucking carrot, and this is the fucking stick. Now, it's all you guys what you choose. If you get behind me, if you plan into this, I will defend you guys to the hill." And that he meant that. But if you don't, there's nothing I can do. He's basically putting it on their hands, saying, "Well, it's up to you. Do you want to go down this path, or do you want to go down that path? It's you choose. You are the person with a map, with everything. We've got all high tech to choose the right path or the wrong path." And I think that was clever and important, because the bigger thing, Andy, as fans, we say no, these players should have the responsibility. No, but in a team sport, you need to have as a coach, you need to have the players with you. They have to follow you. They have to. It's almost like war kind of words that are used in it. They have to get in the trenches with you. They have to be put. And the greatest thing about Fergie, we keep going back to that because it was a fucking example and it was incredible, was that I believe Fergie was the greatest sports psychologist in the history of sport. And I've only done a little degree in sport, but that don't make me qualify. You can disagree. But I'm just saying to you, because he could get into the heads of players who were average at best and make them think and believe that they were better than they were, their limitations. And that's why I believe it's not that long ago that he's played the game. He understands what the modern thing needs. And what I always go back to, and we did a show on United Real Therapy, is the words that to me stuck out for me about Ten Hag was that Benny McCarthy, who's a United fan, who loves Ten Hag, who says Ten Hag is an incredibly amazing tactician, knows every bit about the game. But Benny McCarthy said the words that made me go alarms in my head, was that the players never feel he's with them. We live in a different time. We don't live in 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago. Totally different. Totally different. The way life, society is. Modern day footballers, there has to be, unlike everything, has to be an emotional connection. And for me, the biggest thing I always say is, fuck the manager. You're playing for one of the most iconic football clubs in the world. What more do you need to wear that shirt? Like any of us will work ourselves into the ground. But then we've not been like that. So what the fuck do we expect from players? We've been about bankers bonuses, Glazers taking fucking dividends. That's what we've been about. That's what we've been about. So how do you expect to create a culture where people come in and everybody gets paid? Every one of those bankers who was part of the old regime, they were all on massive bonuses. I mean, Woodward still got shares in the club. Woodward's laughing. Arnold is laughing. They're all sat there going, cha-ching. He's getting rid of people. Yes, more money in our pocket. This is the kind of mentality. So for me, now, Ineos can't go on. To me, I'm on fraud watch because I will never accept anybody. I don't give a fuck who you are. That gives the Glazers what they wanted for them to say stay. So for me, Jim would always be a rat to me because he gave them the investment. They never wanted to sell. All they wanted is an investment. So for me, until he buys the club fully out, you're still a rat. The day that you get rid of them, I will then give you the opportunity and the thing to think, you know what? You're the fully in charge now. You're in the steering wheel of this football club. Take this back to success. And with that, I will give you time. But I'm not giving anybody time when the Glazers are still the fucking biggest shareholders.
You're right there, mate. But it may take a bigger rat, to kill another rat. So what's that space with that one? I agree on that, mate. You know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I hope you're right.
But for the future, definitely, mate. A rat will kill another rat to be superior at a pack. So, yeah, believe me. I would say privately, Jim Boy's plotting a downfall of somebody, and I hope he is. But at the moment, he's at the dinner table, but he's not enjoying the company.
Yeah, good point. I wanna challenge you with a tactical puzzle when it comes to Amorim and how he sets up his team going forward. We know he will play with 3 center backs and 2 sitting midfielders. So actually, the other 5 positions are open for attacking players. And the puzzle is, how can he fit players like Rashford, Højlund, Ahmad, Garnacho, and Bruno into the same lineup? And how would he do it? Stu?
Well, if you remember in pre-season, I called for a 3-5-2, and that negated the 2 wingers. So there was no Garnacho, there was no Ahmad, there was no Rashford, etc. It was Yoro in the centre, it was Martinez to the left, it was De Ligt to the right. 2 wing backs. I was struggling there at that particular time. Now I'd put Matt Zari in, no problem. And another, whoever that another is. That's my only stumbling block at this point in time. Look, I didn't know a great deal about Agate, so I'm not going to jump on the Agate bandwagon and say that I saw why.
He's the Paulinho replacement.
Yes,
I mean, it tells a lot about him as a player.
Yeah, Paulinho for me would have been absolutely perfect for us in a 3-5-2. I mean, we would have just been a dream. But what I've noticed about Agate in the past, and I did mention it right at the beginning when we were linked with him, potentially that if Yoro, because you would use Yoro as our ball player to bring out from the back. I know Amorin loves to play out from the back. If I'm not mistaken, guys, he uses one of his centre halves to do that, and kind of go past the holding, or one of the holding midfielders, in which case Agate could then just hold back and add to that 3 if necessary, if we get turnover. So I would like to see Agate. I'd like to see Mainu. I've got a bit of a hole in 10 at the moment. or the other 8. And then I was looking at Zirkzee and I was looking at Højlund. I think a 2 up top would be a much more effective system for us rather than the 2 so-called wingers and a number 9. I think a 2 up top would be more effective. And the reason for that is they can actually pull the 2 centre-halves apart. No, they won't. You know, when you play a 3 or 5 or 2 wing backs, you're expecting your wing backs to occupy the other wing backs. That's what Liverpool did with Robertson and Trent. If you watch how they play, they occupy the opposing wing backs. So if you've got 2-9, so to speak, you could really pull the 2 centre halves aside and give yourself almost a bit of an overrun in the middle at times. But then you've got to kind of work out who you want in there to be able to put the ball in the back of the net. So this is how I would go. This is what I would do. I would go with, as I said, Yoro, and I've seen Yoro play, and he would be perfect in this system. De Ligt and Martinez. Mazzari, I'm going to say for argument's sake, Harry Amos. I'm just going to say for argument's sake, Harry Amos. Just for argument's sake, okay. Then I want to see Agate, Mainu. I'm going to go with Bruno. And then I'd like to see, I know you're not going to like this, lads, but I'd like to see Zirkzee and Højlund play together. And the reason I want to see them play together is they're 2 different types of forwards. They're not 2 9s. They're different types. And when you're a centre-half, as I am, if you've got 2 forwards against you who are completely different, then you're going to have problems. You know, you've got to decide who's better to take the one type of player. Now, we don't really know, do we, what type of forward Højlund is, and we don't really know what type of forward Zirkzee is. He says he's a 9.5.
Yeah.
The good thing about that is when you've got Bruno attacking as that third, as that third striker, you can then alternate all 3, and you could make it an absolute nightmare for your 2 centre halves. You are then going to have to bring your centre midfield in to try and cover one of those, and you'll find a bit of space, like 25 yards, and that's what you want to exploit. So that's what I would do. So I'm not going 3-4-3, I'm going 3-5-2. I think that's the better system for us. It won't be popular. People won't like it. They won't like it because Ahmed doesn't make it, and they won't like it because Garnacho doesn't make it.
It's a little bit more pragmatic in a way, playing.
Yes, but that's how I would go about it. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, but as I mentioned, it was a tactical puzzle. But how can you fit in all this attacking players that we do have? I don't see a place for Garnacho. So where are we going to play him? Same with Rashford. As I explained with Rashford, I may see him as a striker, second striker option.
Well, there's nothing stopping you, Jarvis. There's nothing stopping you making changes, bringing off Højlund or Zirkzee and putting in Rashford. Well, what you could do, if there's about 20 minutes to go and with, I don't know, it's 2-1 or whatever, you can rechange the system and jig it slightly. You can just rejig it slightly to bring in a Rashford and a Garnacho and Ahmad and a Garnacho by removing Zirkzee and removing the other 8, whoever that may be. That's either Bruno or Mainu, one of those 2, and you can play with 3 up top. So you could revert to the 3-4-3. So that's the beauty of a 3-5-2. It won't take hardly anything to revert to 3-4-3. So you can get them in, and I think we'd be better equipped with impact substitutes, which Garnacho, Ahmad, Rashford would be better employed, in my opinion.
Great answer. I have the next topic before we go to the Q&A. And
can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Can I just please ask a question? It's true. What do you make of Ahmad as a player? Do you think he's too slight? Do you think he is? What do you think? Really... What do you feel about him?
Do you know what?
Can you compare him to Rashford and Garnacho in the way he plays, or do you think he has more in his game in terms of close control?
I think he's got more in his game. I really has. That loan spell at Sunderland, if you think back to that was like, he didn't do very well at Rangers, but that loan spell at Sunderland, some of the goals he scored, amazing. So he's raw, unharnessed potential, and he's not. I don't think he'll be. Just don't let him be a superstar. Just let him be that menace. There's energy there. I want him. He's got potential, but I'd like to say go under the radar. Just be that menacing winger, and I think he can be. He really can be.
I think it's a really good question, and it's actually Nuruddin, a really difficult question to answer, which is strange, really, because of the way that footballers are, and you kind of know players. And I'm struggling with that, Ahmad. Now, I've seen a lot of, players calling for Ahmad to be, be in the team, on a regular basis. I'm not quite there yet with him, Nuruddin, but I tell you where I think he will end up. I think he'll end up in a Odegaard position, a high 8/10. That's his best position, or will be his best position. Somebody asked me a couple of years ago, Nuruddin, on where I saw Greenwood, and everybody was saying Greenwood would be a 9, and I was adamant he wouldn't make a 9, and I'm still adamant he wouldn't make a 9. But with Ahmad, I couldn't really give you that direct answer today. I think he'll end up as an 8 or a 10.
In terms of the attributes, what do you like? I personally think he's a bit too passive at times.
Yes,
I think he's got the skill, he's got the technical ability to sometimes take the shot, take the game on, get it better. And I think sometimes he wants to pass, especially to Bruno. When I go to the games, you're always looking for Bruno. I'm like, no, you are there, you're free, take it, take the game.
Well, you can't argue what he did against Leicester and what he did in the game before.
Yeah, he's scared. Attributes-wise, I think he's got fantastic feet. I think he's as good as Saka. Honestly, with the ball, I think he's brilliant at his feet. Be scared. He's a frightened player at the moment. I agree with you, Nuruddin. He's got to say, fuck you to Bruno. Fuck you to Højlund. I'm shooting. I agree with you.
I think Bruno would agree. If the best option, ignore me and go for it.
Jarvis, I'll be one sec, mate.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time.
I think like Bruno would say to him, look, if the chance is there, you go for it. Like, ignore me on the pitch. Thanks for the back heel last week. Fantastic. But like, you saw the potential in that Europa game. I mean, like, you just say that, go for it. If you can, we're all in this together, but there's a chance you can do like say you put them in the same bracket as Saka, the potential to be at the level of Saka. Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, the technical ability is there.
Yeah. For the record, guys, weather-wise, it is white in Manchester now. We have snow. I've just checked outside.
Snowing, yeah. It's snowing. I don't know where we are the temperature-wise, though.
We've got a little sprinkle down near the...
There's one guy that we can never talk about the weather, how bad it is, or moan about it. And it's Jarvis. Next Wednesday's going to be -20. What the?
Yeah. Well, I'm not looking forward to it. -20. That's cold, even too cold for me.
I would fucking die.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say when it comes to Ahmad, I think his biggest problem so far has been that he's a magician, as we all know. He's good on the ball. He can do stuff that no one else can do in this team. But it comes to the balance. Under Ten Hag, he wanted runners. What did you used to call them, Nuruddin?
Road runners.
Road runners. Meep. and Garnacho, Ahmad wasn't that one. He wasn't that type of player. So there was no use in having a magician in the team if you're not going to utilize his magic in a way. So I see a big chance now for Ahmad. He needs to be consistent. I still see he has this young player mentality. He has some good games and some terrible games. So we need to stabilize himself at a higher level and don't let himself drop down and be invisible in games. He needs to take charge of his own destiny, involve himself in the game when possible, and do stuff with the ball, because we know he has the capabilities, the skills.
Do you think coaches will say, we'll work on certain players? We'll work on Kobe Mainoo. We'll work on Højlund, and we'll work on Ahmed Diallo. You think some of the Ruben and his coaches will work on them three particular to harness their potential? Because he'll know Bruno's okay. Casemiro's okay. Ugarte, I can still make him better. You know, the goalkeeper as well. So, would the focus be on them youngsters to harness them, to push them a bit further? So that may be right there, Jarvis. I think he'll do that. He'll look at them youngsters.
Yeah, I believe this is just the beginning of Ahmad. I think Ruben Amorim can go in and really make him excel as a player, and I think we need that.
He's only got a year left on his contract.
He's got to butch up. He's got to butch up.
Yeah.
At the gym.
Yeah. Well, do you think so?
Yeah.
I think he's quite strong when it comes to the duo because he loves central gravity. It never gets pushed over in a way.
I think he's okay.
And his heading ability, he wins a lot of duels.
His goal against AC Milan speaks wonders for him.
Yeah, it does.
I just want to say quick when it comes to bulking up. I think this is wrong in football. I think a lot of people focus on bulking up, and you see players bulking up and not being the same as, for example, Rashford bulking up. You don't have the speed.
I'm not talking about. Yeah,
I think you should be very careful bulking up as a footballer because it's all about balance in the body.
I'm not talking about Traore level, but when you're if I'm playing left back, right back, and I'm seeing somebody like I'm testing him. I'm testing him straight away. I'm going to block him. I'm going to lean into him. I'm going to see what he's got. I'm just going to see what he's about. I'm going to grab his arm. I'm going to interlock with him. I'm going to grab his shirt. I'm going to do what I can to put him off. When you play the centre half, you've got somebody like Hoyland, you know that's what you're going to be doing. You know, you're going to be fighting, you're going to be scrapping, you know, for the whole game. Same as Diego Costa, stuff like that. So with somebody like Ahmed, I'm looking at him. I think he's slight of frame. I'm going for him. I'm going to see what he's got. I'm going to see if I hit him, is he going to come back up? If he puts a little bit on, shoulder to shoulder is key in wing play. Going around, shoulder to shoulder. Nuruddin was talking about it a minute ago. It's key. It's being able to wrestle your guy with your shoulder, keep the ball at the same time, and you know, do your manoeuvring. Now, whether people like players that do that or not, that's fine. Each to their own in terms of players. But I would be looking for him to add just a little bit more upper body strength to him because that will be the key for him. I do agree with you, by the way, about if you overstock yourself, you become very, very cumbersome, very slow. You do. I did it myself a couple of years ago. And I lost a lot of pace, and I haven't regained it since. My Zimmer frame, I have to have a little motor in it to get me, you know, from A to B now. But I needed that bulk and I needed that strength so I could outmuscle, you know, the opposition. So I'd just like to see a little bit more from him in terms of that. But
so what you're saying is Ahmed is a TIE fighter and he needs to upgrade to a Millennium Falcon type.
Jarvis, you might have to tell me what that is, but no, I know what those is. I love Star Wars as well, by the way. I grew up on them.
You grew up on a Millennium Falcon a bit bigger. Just a bit bigger vehicle.
I'm not saying you know, an Dharma or Traore type thing, but I'd just like to see a little bit more. So when he wants to get across somebody, he can maneuver them out of the way. He's not going to put Kyle Walker away, for example.
No.
You know, Kyle Walker's, you know, he's not going to stick. He's not going to, but he would put Trent Alexander away, in my opinion, but he's not going to do likes of Kyle Walker and things of that nature. So that's the only thing I'd say. And it's not a criticism, by the way, either. You know, it's just.
I agree with what you're saying, Stu. But for me, I think a lot of the focus now for footballers is about looking big, you know, and it's not about being big. You have to be lean. You have to be lean and strong, core muscle. That's the thing. I mean, and it takes time. Look at Ronaldo. He was in his 30s before he started like really bulking up as he was in his latter.
He managed to, you know, put some strength in his body. You know, rigid. He became rigid. I just like to see Ahmed become rigid. If you notice the last few games, he's been knocked off the ball. I would consider a bit easy, but you know, that's just me. That's just the way I look at it. Like I say, it's not a criticism. But a good question, Nuruddin, because I'm glad you asked that, because there's a lot of hype about him at the moment. And so I agree. It's a really good question. And to tell you what, it's a question I don't think many people would ask. Because I don't think they, you know, they really want the answer. But and Andy was right the way that you answered it as well, Paul. You know, so
I mean, Stu, you might have the same point. I mean, like Arsenal's got Saka, City's got Foden.
Yeah,
you got Odegaard as well, and we could have our own with Ahmed, and I really, that one player who could make a difference, who just switches on 1, 2, 3, gets an hat trick just like that, and has a quiet game, then wakes up again. So that's what I want.
And Foden's a great example, Jarvis, of what you were talking about. He's not big, but he's steel. He's strong, isn't he? You don't knock him off the ball quickly at all. He's strong.
The best one I've seen of that is Bernardo Silva, actually.
Oh
My God, the strength on the ball is unbelievable. I don't see him get throwing because the way he shields the ball. Oh boy.
Yeah, I see GB comes in and say getting bigger suits some players and not others. Ahmed should stay the same and use his natural attributes. And in a way, I agree. So I think you need to be aware and it needs to be careful with bulking up. That's just my thoughts on it.
100%. You see it with what we've done with Cristiano Ronaldo, because also the fact that what happens is that the older you get, the more you get broader. Especially if you're athlete, you put in a muscle.
Yeah.
You put on muscle because you're doing your gym session, you're doing your injury prevention. You're gonna grow because you're gonna build muscle. But the thing is, if you ever watch, did any of you ever watch The Last Dance?
The movie.
Yeah, The Last Dance, the documentary, the series. Did you watch it, Andy?
Yeah.
The Last Dance. It's Michael Jordan, and it's fascinating because they call it The Last Dance, and it's a documentary about the last time they won. Chicago Bulls won, what that was like. And you see him getting a specific type of trainer who trains his body to get him back to the leanness, the strengthening the areas that need to be strengthened so he can't be shoved off in the ball on the court. And there are specific types of training that certain people can do. United used to have an amazing conditioner. Like, he used to take everybody's body, and he wasn't all one size fits all. He used to look at.
I think basically it's more about calisthenics, not about putting weights.
Yeah, it's not weight. It's the calisthenics. It's about. It's actually, you see it sometimes. I've seen it more in Spain, actually. I remember at times when I've been out, whether in Las Palmas, watching Las Palmas play, or when I've been to watch Bilbao play, you see, honestly, nowhere to lie, you see the trainer literally holding the players up or trying to get on their backs almost. And they're warming up. This is the warm up. They've got enough room to play a little bit of a game on the touchline where the ball gets played, and there's somebody up his back, and the trainer is almost on his back, and then he's holding him, he's pulling him, and he has to get away from him because they try to recreate the closest to the reality. You know what I mean? How it is going to be reality. So I think different things, different courses for different horses.
Interesting topic, guys. I just want to move on. We're 1 hour, 30 minutes into the show. So I just want to go to the last topic before we go to the Q&A. And it's about VAR, because there came some new rules out they are trying out. And it's breaking. FIFA is considering replacing VAR with football video support. It's called FVS. And the FVS is much simpler system at the technical level. It's 4 to 5 cameras needed, and there's no referee video. And the coaches, the managers, can require to the referee to review his decision 2 times per game. And if they lose the first review, they don't get a second claim. And the referee will go on to FVS only when asked by the coaches. The referee can't decide himself if he wants to review a decision over again.
Let's put the PGML out of business, don't it?
It will. But I'm interested in hearing your take on this. Do you think this is a better system? You get two calls from the manager, and that's it. You don't get the disruption of games all the time. You can actually celebrate if there's a goal. Do you think this is viable? Do you think it's a good thing?
Yeah. Or you can, like you say, the West Ham debacle, the penalty that never was, VAR, you know what I mean? So anything that makes the game better, which, like you say, when you score, you're like, I can't celebrate like I used to. Nobody can. So it's like and decisions go against you, like you say. Or it's like a computer game. You get 3 strikes to call the ref over. Can you look at this? Can you look at this? So it's one of those, isn't it? You don't need a little guy sat in a trailer 200 miles away, monitoring that. Oh, I don't want to get involved in that because, like you say, the Premier League now, as far as I'm concerned, is corrupt. Is absolutely corrupt on a level, and you see what happened with that ref calling Klopp. Look, the way certain broadcasters and the media have buried this so fast. They're burying this story, and they don't want to talk about it because basically the TV companies and the media don't want to lose their exclusive links to the PGMO. Well, the PGA, I can't pronounce it. Howard Webb and his crew. You know what I mean? So
PGMOL.
PGMOL, yeah. Gary Neville, like you say, will not tackle it. Neither will Sky. Now will Jamie Carragher. Like you say, I want it different. Like I say, no more decisions from a guy dunking his biscuits fucking 200 miles away. Depends on what biscuits they are. You know what I mean? Making a decision in the last minute. Oh, I spilt my tea. You just missed a fucking chance. There's a fucking penalty right there. You spilt your tea. So don't need it, don't want it. Anything to improve the game and make it more, I can say, they've got that technology in the World Cup where you can tell an offside just like that. You don't need to draw the lines, sniff the lines, fucking X, Y, and Z. So I don't care. Nuruddin gets that. So yeah. I know.
Do the Robbie Fowler. Do the Robbie Fowler.
Yes, do the Robbie Fowler.
Do the Robbie Fowler. Do the Robbie Fowler. Yeah.
So guys, Nuruddin, how do you feel about the new system?
So just remind me again, just a little bit.
FVS. You get 2 challenges per game. If you lose the first review, you don't get the second.
So how long can you review the decision back because the game is flowing? So how would that happen? You go to the you go to the third official and you go right review.
No third official. You go to the screen. The referee goes to the screen and review it.
No, but does he press a button? Does the manager press a button?
The manager. Does the manager press a button?
I don't know. How do they do it in cricket? In American football, I think they have a flag that they throw on.
But just to say, American sport is already there. Stop, start. You can't use that as an American. So let me just say this. I think this is a capitalistic. I don't want to swear. Capitalist ideal commercialism creeping in. I think with those decisions, most TV studios are gonna go. You'll find out after this break. Tell you something.
Cliffhangers.
Oh yeah,
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
We'll go to a break. We've got to get the.
We're going to a break, and that to me, the game's gone. Then we don't have the game. The thing about football is that for 45 minutes each half, when we watch it, game, and that's what we watch. But as soon as you put in breaks because of decisions, then it's going to be more thing to be moved to 3 decisions like it's tennis. No tennis, they sit down, they have a fucking banana and then swap over like they do every fucking set. No, I don't want
it. It'll be like an ice hockey match, mate. It'll be like an ice hockey match.
It'll be like, that's the death of football, mate. That's the death of football. I'm not having that. If it's an all-in game and something happens quickly, and each coach or managers, they've got the monitors, aren't they? If they see something quickly during that play, and they go, "Hey, quickly!" and then the referee then quickly rushes to the screen, has a look, bam, goes back and says, "Da-da-da," boom. No discussions, no overruled, boom. Yeah. That's it, done. That's the difference. If you can get that to 30 seconds,
they'll challenge for everything. That's what they'll do.
Exactly. If you get that to 30 seconds, Jarvis, with no breaks, with no go to, then I might be able to, because one of the biggest things I do miss when we go to the stadium is celebrating a fucking goal. The amount of times I've chopped up like the raw emotion, and then I've gone, and then the woman at Old Trafford goes, "There's this VAR check," and I'm like, "Oh,
this will be
I'm
like
going crazy after that. I'm losing my mind."
Fortunes, this. You're pressing that. You're getting your X. Overruled. This. It'll be like a bleeding game show if the way this is going. Absolute game show.
Let me tell you something, fellas.
Yeah.
as a manager, if they bring it in, you won't use it anyway, because if you get 2, 1 per half, okay, and if you get it wrong, you lose 1, and if you challenge, how the fuck do you know in 2 minutes' time there's not going to be something worse that you could have challenged? You're never going to use it. They'll never use it. Managers will never use it because they won't know at any given time.
It will get rid of the clear and obvious. You don't need the AML to make the decision.
Yeah,
the coach can make what he sees as clear and obvious. Let's say there's a goal, there's a 2-meter offside, and the ref doesn't see it.
But they'll never use it.
Go to the monitor, you look at it right away.
Yeah. This is where we need that technology because what happens in 5 minutes' time then, when there's, I mean, there was a match, I think Greece played England 2 weeks ago. Greece had 4 goals or 3 goals disallowed. 3 goals. Okay. Now within that period, okay, you get 1 challenge. 1 challenge. What are you going to do with the others? You know, there will never be a time in the game where you'll be able to absolutely pinpoint, I've got to challenge it. I can't challenge it because I might need it in the 90th minute. Like West Ham, you'll never do it. As a coach, as a manager, you'll just never do it. It's a flawed system.
Yeah, you're not going
to. Oh, you might lobby, Stu. You might lobby for 3. You might lobby. 4. 3 in each half, please.
Exactly. Yeah, because you just won't risk it. And the West Ham game for us, as Andy said when he opened up his segment about this, the West Ham game, we know it was wrong. Howard Webb's come out and said it was wrong. So you're not going to use it until the 94th minute. I promise you now, Jarvis, you won't risk it.
Well, it depends on the result of the game. Let's say if you're 1-0 down, 20 minutes left of the game and the opposition score and obviously blatant offside goal, you bound to use it because you don't want it. You want the game to be dead.
Again, if that gets overruled for whatever reason, I come back to my original thing. 94 minutes in, scramble, penalty. You got no challenge. And you really aren't going to use it. I know it sounds daft. I do. I know it sounds absolutely daft, but when as a manager, Andy, you're standing on the sideline, right? Even if you're 2-0 up or whatever, and you see something and you haven't used it because you've run jeopardy, and then all of a sudden with 5 minutes to go,
they get a goal.
They get a goal, and then you haven't used it. You've got 2 challenges. What if you've used them in the first half? We're cruising at 2-0. 5 minutes to go. You got fuck all left. What are you going to do? The jeopardy side of it, Jarvis, it's impossible.
Like I say, this is it's Americanizing English football and the Premier League, and it's weaponizing it. It's not right because we stop, start. 90-minute game. 90-minute game. Weaponizing the game. Because I think Noah's right. If this comes in, you're going to say, well, hold on, that's no good for us. And we can cite West Ham, can't we? Where we know it was wrong. So Noah's right. I need 4 challenges per half. I need 5. And how are you going to do it? Yeah, I would imagine.
How does this work in cricket? Do any of you guys follow cricket?
Imagine it'd be a button or something that goes into the ref's ear. But then he's got to stop the play immediately, I'm guessing, because he can't go back to it. So he stops the play immediately, comes over. Has he got 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes? What if he can't decide? What if the guys at the FVS can't do it? I get it, but I think Andy's right. I think we're weaponizing.
But do you think VAR is better then? Because this is an option for VAR. You know, you are picking of 2 evils.
Do you know what?
What are you going to choose?
I'm not telling you now. These 2 are match game fans. My son's a match game fan. I've been a match game fan. I just like the jeopardy. I like the jeopardy without VAR.
Like you go home, say you rule the chances like in the old days. Drogba, he was so offside. He was in my side when he scored the goal for Chelsea and he won the league at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
That's what you talk about. And like you say, luck goes against you. 12 months later, we beat Chelsea 2-1 at Old Trafford. We win the league.
Yeah.
Do you think I've still got? Do you think I've got over Porto? Paul Scholes is winner.
Oh, I know.
I've got over that.
Yeah.
Do you think I've got over that? I'll never get over it. I'll take her to the grave with me. I'll take her to the possible goal. Can you imagine 1999 when Sheringham, gets the flick on? And there's I didn't celebrate, Stu. I didn't celebrate because he looked at the linesman. I was looking at the linesman. I didn't celebrate. Yeah. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I ran 3 streets that way, 3 streets this way, 4 streets this way, and everybody was coming out of the house. Just imagine if VAR rules that out because he's seen an elbow or he's seen something. VAR rules out. Rob's Manchester United fans are the greatest night in modern history. Dude, I swear to God, he's physically affecting me. Please don't say that. No, I know, right? Exactly. That's right. So. My stomach's just sank. That other thought of rewriting that history. It was the greatest night of ever in my life. No other night will ever top that. No night will ever top that. No night in my football career.
2008 comes close. 2008 comes close.
It was that. Listen, it was something about those 12 days. Those 12 days. It was, 12 days. And that Champions League season, the superstition was out of this scale. I had to sit next to my best friend. He had to sit second. I had to sit. We had to sit on the floor wherever we watched it. Even at the fucking pub, we had to sit on the fucking floor so that we can look at the screen. He had to sit next to me. If I needed a pee, I'm not going till it's halftime. It was that level of psychopathicness. We had to be there to hear the Champions League music. It was like that. And those 12 days, Andy Cole's lob.
Oh, Cole's lob.
Goal against, was it Paul Scholes? Was it Paul Scholes' goal at Wembley against Jordan?
David Beckham's equaliser.
Is that, like all the different things.
It was a foul.
Giggs' goal.
Giggs' goal, hair chest, that carpet. Yeah. Him jumping.
But guys,
he actually got injured. You know, he got injured. You know, jumping around the way he was jumping.
Yeah.
But guys, you do realize if VAR existed in 1999, the momentum of the game after we scored the Sheringham goal would have gone out of the game because it would have taken VAR 2-3 minutes to look at the goal 5 times. The referee would have stood there. They would have calmed down, and the adrenaline would have gone out of their bodies. So with VAR, it wouldn't most likely not happen, the second goal, because of that. And when it comes to VAR, one of the greatest goals in all time, the Maradona goal in 1986 Mexico, there was a free kick right before Maradona received the ball in the halfway, and
we don't win the World Cup.
So we could have been robbed for those moments because of VAR. So for me, I agree with you guys. I want to scrap VAR completely.
I
see this.
It's sales that will count. It's sales in games that will live on forever with other fans.
We can talk about. Yeah,
and that's all you want.
Yeah, the Drogba offside.
Oh,
that saying goes in a Drogba offside. He was in my side. That's what the saying was. He was that offside. He was in fucking. That's what I say. That's how mad.
Probably near Saeed's house. He probably turned up there.
Exactly. That's how mad it was. Yeah, that's how he was in my fucking neighborhood, mate. He was in your front room.
Guys and girls, it's Q&A time. So get your questions in for Stu.
We got the questions. I can't see it.
We don't have any questions yet, but people get your questions in for Andy, Noradin, and Stu.
We've got 12 minutes.
The last thing I would say on it, it will bring what Andy said and what you said. Is that changing the fabric of European football to more Americanized to bring about advertisement so they can sell things. And that to me, that's the day. This is
a penalty. Find out in 15 seconds while we advertise Pepsi Max.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Oh, Pepsi. That's what
exactly. And halftime shows and all that business, yeah. Putting on fucking Usher or somebody on or whatever it is, Lady Gaga, halftime. It's one of those
There's
things.
There's no party like a Diddy party.
Could you imagine?
Watch the trial.
No, we don't want to go to those parties, mate. But anyway.
No. I'm just saying they'll be advertising the trial if that comes in.
There you go.
On ABC, watch the trial.
Yeah. Wow. Can you imagine that Wembley and the FA Cup final or like the Champions League final? half-time entertainment, like half an hour.
But you know something? The World Club
piss.
Cup will be interesting to see because it's in America, isn't it? This year,
No.
I'm not going to watch it because I can't be bothered.
No, I'm not watching it either.
I think it'll be really interesting to see what they do, you know, in the World Club Cup. But no, I'd like to. I just don't want to see FVS, whatever.
You know what I started to watch, too, Jarvis and Andy? I started watching championship games.
Yeah, me too.
No VAR.
Yeah, I've been watching it.
No VAR.
The championship.
Games flowing. Games fast.
It's brilliant.
Games flow.
Yeah.
Leeds Sunderland. What a game that was.
Yeah.
What a game that was. The goalkeeper, Leeds goalkeeper, had one of the biggest calamities you'll ever see anytime, any goalkeeper anywhere. And I absolutely loved it.
I mean, it's a shame when you can't enjoy your own team because of VR, then you're watching championship. But that's where it's at. There's no VAR in the championship.
And they said no. They said no. And I'm so happy about that. They said no.
Me too.
We have 10 minutes left of the show because Stu needs to.
I do apologise. Yes, tonight. Yes.
So let's just play the Q&A jingle and get going with the Q&A.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Jonathan.
People drinking.
Well, welcome. There's hardly any questions, guys. This will be a very, very short Q&A. And Trevor's kicked it off with his usual Stu Keeney for the office Christmas party. I've actually got one with a couple of hollies, just at the 2 holly leaves and some berries, just in the crucial place, which I will model for you, Trev, before I wear that at my Christmas party. So, guys, there's hardly any questions. So, Jarvis, ask Nuruddin and Andy a question.
Well, we have a couple of questions, but I have this one because we touched on it yesterday, but we know. I just want a quick answer for you guys when it comes to this. Pogba back, yes or no? Would you have taken him back, Andy?
Hell no.
Hell no.
I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole. Hell would have to freeze over for him to come back. I seen Saeed wanted him back. I seen his little clip the other day. Nah, man, I'm not having. He says he's back. Is it free transfer now, and all his troubles are behind him. Nah, just let him play football somewhere else. No.
I've got breaking news, Andy. Pogba doesn't want to come back either. He doesn't want to come back. It's the last place he wants to come back is to Manchester United. He tried to leave 3 times and the bankers caged him. That's a fact. Take her to the bank. That's my opinion. Yeah, he doesn't want to come back.
The old United, I could see, the old United will give him a 2-year deal and he leaves on a free transfer in 2 years and goes to Saudi Arabia.
Probably. Yeah. No. Oh, we've got some couple of questions coming in.
A lot of questions coming in, yes.
Yeah, they're all coming in now. So, Richie, Club Sport would like to know, looking at reports, MUFC won't be spending much, relying on Amorin to get more out of the squad. Do you think he can achieve that? Andy, what do you think?
I think he'll assess what he's got between now and Christmas. Don't need X, Y, and Z player. And if he's desperate for let's say, to replace Luke Shaw, he'll get somebody in. Somebody will have to be sacrificed. If he determined, he'll get that player. I know Ineos have all the say, and he said, look, we're struggling here. We're getting through games, but I need somebody. I need cover till the end of the season. I say he'll get at least one transfer for himself. He'll get one in January, all depending on the circumstances. If he needs to replace Malacia or Luke Shaw, if they become injured again, he'll get somebody in. Because, like you say, the club will want to back him. And they say, well, if Ineos come out with, well, we can give you this, that, and he'll look at him and go, yeah, okay, I'll take that. It's not the best, but it'll do till the end of the season. And we'll see where we go from there.
Interesting. Richie, I hope that's answered your question. Well answered there, to be fair, Mr. Tate. Nuruddin, I got a beaut for you from Steph. Stephanie, great to have you again. How many goals and points will United finish with? A really good question. Difficult one, Nuruddin.
How many Premier League goals and points United will finish with? So, what are we on now? I think we're on 11 or something like that. Where are we?
15.
We're on
15. We're on
15 points with 0 goal difference, or 1 or something like that.
It's 1 now, isn't it? It's level. It's level.
Level. 0.
It's level.
Well,
okay.
To put things in context, last season we were on 60 points, 57 goals scored last season.
Yes.
Minus some whatever goal difference.
Minus 1.
Minus 1, yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to be very optimistic and say Manchester United will get in around 70-something points, 70 maybe 74 points.
Okay.
And we will be maybe get to 60 goals. 60 goals. Yeah, that's the target I'm saying. 60. Because I think he's got the impact. I think this system is going to shock them. I think the way his enthusiasm is going to shock them, and it might shock some of them into gear. I'm thinking he's going to make an impact.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Nuruddin. Steph, I hope that answers your question. The smirking Jarvis is next.
Yep.
From R10. I wonder if he's going to copyright R10. Are you able to settle with some losses with Amorin, or while Amorin gets his identity in place?
Yeah, I'm patient when it comes to managers. We all had our Ten Hag in or out discussions the last year or two. So I will happily settle with some losses, because I think as a manager you need time, and I'm not stressing. Amorim has a free pass. The remainder of this season.
It depends on the game. It depends on the game.
Because I know this squad. If it doesn't succeed, I don't think it's on Amorim. I think it's on the players.
Oh yeah. If this team goes walkies in December at the Manchester Derby, and just like I'm not up for this, but you know what? It's not on you, boss. It's you have the power now to rip this team apart. So yeah, I can accept a couple of losses this season. What I don't want is losing. We lost 12 games last year. Then we lost 12 games. I do not want that. If we can get so under 14. 14, Jesus Christ. If we could keep it under 10 losses this season, I can have that acceptable. But it's the match. It's depending. It's like you want to put a performance in at the Emirates, Anfield, the Etihad, Chelsea away. It's like they're the games that could get you European football. What European football description it is at the end of the season, you don't know. But they're the key games that will get you European football. Whether you're top 4, 5th, or say you're even a Europe, what's at stake? If you get a cup tie, you get a chance. You got to go for it.
Yeah, no, totally agree. R10, I hope that answers your question. Right, K-Mac is next. K-Mac would like to know, I'll take this briefly, do we believe these players will turn up under this new manager? If so, for how long? The guy's already touched on it, to be honest, K-Mac, earlier on in the stream. And it is a must, because if these players don't turn up, or can't be bothered to turn up, or can't be bothered after 4 or 5 games, then they're not going to be there or playing in the first team. I think this manager will make that very, very clear to these guys. He has to make it clear to these guys. The days of play apart at Manchester United has got to come to an end forthwith. Yes. So I think
he's even said he'll back him. He'll back and defend them. But
publicly, he won't.
But behind the scenes, no, I ain't backing you. I'll back you from criticism on the pitch, but privately, no, you're not putting in the effort. You deserve to be dropped. And I'm going to refer you to the boys upstairs and inquire about a replacement.
Yeah, I think that's what it will do. K-Mac, I know it's a short and sweet answer, but I think that we've probably covered that now. Nuruddin Nathay Zimba says, Do you guys, the fan base, turn on Amorin, sorry, if results are bad or if he instills a style of play? I think what he's saying is if results don't come with his style of play, are we likely to turn on him like we did with Ten Hag as a fan base?
No. Well, I don't think maybe after 2 years, I can see people turning. But to me, he has to show us. We have to see improvement. He actually answered it with his interview the other night, and I thought it was one of the best interviews for any United coach. It was very natural.
We have to see something before the end, between now and the end of the season.
Facts. You have to, and he said that. He said you will see something, and that something will buy me more time. He answered it himself. Came from the horse's mouth. He said, you need to show something to get more time, and you need to get the results.
Yeah, and by the way, he mentioned he was called a poet by Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ronaldo.
He was.
No, I did. Will you take any trophy this season as well? If we can do it.
Any bonus. But that's not the most important thing.
I know, mate. I know. But even the League Cup, would you take that?
Yeah. Listen, I'll take anything if I see a system and players thriving in the system, because that's more important to me than trophy. Because that, Andy, the system can get me to challenge for the titles that I need to challenge. That's the Champions League.
But that system delivers a trophy.
On the way. I don't mind. I don't mind. And that'd be like 2005, Fergie. We won that League Cup, but what came afterwards was here. We won a League Cup and we won a Europa League, and what fucking came? 20 points behind the fucking champions.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, amazing. Trev, the guys have kind of just answered this one for you, pal. But you've got another question, so we'll move to that shortly. So thanks for that, Trev. I think this is a brilliant question, so I'm going to give it to Jarvis. I really do think this is a brilliant question. Our very own Stephanie Griffiths says, who will be our best wing backs and why? Now, we have covered this, Stephanie, earlier on in the stream. But I'll be interested to see what Jarvis says on that, because I couldn't give you a full, proper answer.
Well, the thing is, we don't know who our wingbacks is in this Amorim system. It could be Ahmad, it could be Garnacho, it could be Dallo, it could be Mazraoui. I don't know if we would go defensively with fullbacks or wingers. So that's the main issue. But as I see it at the moment, it's Mazraoui without a doubt. He's one of the players of the season, and I think he's very positionally strong. He's very clever in the way he plays. He plays with his brain, and he has the abilities to back it up. So for me, I think our best wingback will be Mazraoui.
Yeah, that's kind of what I came down on. It's a really good question, Stephanie. Sorry we couldn't answer it to its fullest. Nuruddin, I'm going to give Trev's question to you. And then I've got another one for you, Andy, straight after. Nuruddin, Trev wants to know, will Amorin implement his tactics in the first game, or will he ease it in gradually? Again, I like that question.
I think he said it. He said you will see some. You can't see the picture, but you're going to see some things from the game one. He said that. He promised. He said
he did.
From game one, you'll see something. But obviously, he needs time to get the full game plan, game model to function. But the first, you'll see something, he said. The way we press, the way we are on the ball, the way we are off the ball. He mentioned that before.
Yeah, I for one am looking forward to Sunday. I have to say, thanks for that, Nuruddin. Trev, I hope that answers your question. I know you're back in with another one, so we'll get to you shortly on that one as well. Neil Driscoll, good to see you, Neil. Always good to see you in the chat, pal. Andy, Amorin, what United have to identify. So I think what he's saying is, in terms of style of play, how we identify as a new team, how long do you think it will take?
I want to see it before the end of the season. I really want to do it. I really want to do it. Could we see it within the first 6 weeks? I don't know. Ten Hag, when he started, he knew what he saw the flaws, and he had to adapt very quickly. And that's why we went on that run. If you remember, lost the first 2, won the next 4. We were doing well. We were digging deep and grinding out results. I don't want it to go that way with Ruben. I don't want him to start grinding out results. I'm patient. I'm patient now. Been through a lot. I've seen it. I've done it. Bought a t-shirt. I want to see it by the end of the season. And I like to say, if he's not there by the end of the season, then, like I say, with a set of players, and if he has to work and he can't get anything, he'll have to be here by the end of 2025. Well, start next season. It will. He'll have to be implemented into pre-season. He will. Because if these players could not get it with Radnick after 20 minutes, you know what I mean? These players are going to get screwed. If they can't get it within 20 minutes, I'm knackered. I can't run with the Gagan, whatever it was, Gandam style running, pressing. Gandam style, you know what I mean? I want these players to like, shit, I've got to do this. And that's what, like I say, I'm sure most of them, 95% of them will want to do it.
No, I totally agree. Nuruddin, Jarvis, you got anything to add? Or?
No, I totally agree. I think Andy is on the point. We need to see it at the end of the season. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what
at the end of the season. Yeah, 6 months. I always said 6 months, and I said it about.
You could see in the Premier League. You might see different in the cups in Europe. If you want to grind out result, you want to get progress in the cups. If you want to change it and grind out like Ten Hag did, fine. But I want to see it in the league.
I think one thing he's going to do is going to make us harder to beat.
Yeah, I'd agree with
straight
that.
away.
Yeah.
So no more basketball on vacation. It's gone. The basketball on vacation is gone.
Top 5 and a trophy. If you tell me top 5 and a trophy, I'll snap your hand off right now.
Top 6 and a trophy, yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody would. Yeah, no, I'd agree. Neil, hope that's answered your question. Trev is back in, I think, with a really good question. So I'm going to hand this to Jarvis as well. Which players do you feel will thrive under his style, and which players will be surplus to requirements? Good question.
Yeah, I think I will make a quick answer. I think Martinez will thrive. Martinez, because of his passing abilities, his ability to break the lines, and we know that the wide centre backs are the deep playmakers in Amorim's system, and I think he actually can do it quite well. So I think we will see a better side of Martinez in this system, and the player who will struggle, I'm afraid, is going to be Garnacho. One of our youngest 19-year-old talent with 100 league games for us so far. I think he will really struggle to find a place in this system, unfortunately, for him.
Thank you for answering that, Jarvis.
Yeah,
I can't see Garnacho getting sold. No chance.
No, not getting sold.
He wants to go to Madrid anyway. He wants to go to Madrid anyway.
Hell of a call, that, Mr. Ruben. If you pull that in the summer, no, don't need him.
Yeah. I think that I've only got one thing to add to Jarvis' thing. I think Martinez on the ball, but off the ball in a wide area, he can be exposed. I really think that the way that teams attack, the teams that did well against Amorim's system, they look to isolate the centre right in the wide areas and using the lack of cover from the wing backs. So that's where he could come unstuck. But on the ball and being guy, he's going to Casemiro's, the Ogates, the guys who want to die on the football pitch, he's going to love. The guys who are not about that, he has to try to drag it out of them, or they're surplus to requirements. He said intensity is key.
Yeah.
Modern football it's the name of the game.
Yeah, totally agree. Trev, I hope that's answered your question, pal. Nade is back. I'll just open this to the floor, actually. And I think we have covered this again today within the show. Do you guys generally think Amorim's 3-4-3 can work in the Premier League with that squad? I offered a difference of opinion with a 3-5-2, although you could easily revert to a 3-4-3. Just quickly, 30 seconds each. Jarvis?
Yeah. It will work. It will work because I think Amorim is a good coach. With this group of players, I think he will struggle a little bit because we are unbalanced. As I mentioned, we are unbalanced when it comes to strikers. We have two young strikers, not an out-and-out experienced guy who will score every game. And we are not balanced on the left side. We don't have a left wing back. I don't know how we will solve it. Maybe Ahmad. Harry Amos can do it, but I don't know. I don't know how we will solve it. But I think the solution is there. We don't see it yet. But yeah, it can work.
Super. Andy?
Yeah, I think he'll do it. And Ten Hag will be the Punisher. Got my Punisher t-shirt on, jumper. Came in.
Is that what it is? Is it the Punisher? Is it?
Yeah, it's a Punisher. So Ruben will be the Punisher, and he will punish players who do not fall into line and run for this club.
Yeah. Nuruddin?
Yeah, I think he can look at Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
They're doing it.
Playing very well, aren't they, Forest? Very well. Tough to beat. They're a tough team to beat.
Very tough to beat.
Yeah.
Stephanie Griffin have put in a hell of a question. Oh my god.
He has. I've got you earmarked for that. I've got you earmarked. So just going to Nade then, he's got a follow-up question. A very, very quick answer, one player each. Who do you guys think will be our player of the year?
Well, Masraoui so far for me. He's way ahead.
Will be at the end of the season. Who will be?
I think
it'd be Masraoui as well. I can't see anybody surpassing him. He's been superb.
Well, I hope some people for surpassing, because it's not good having a left wing back or right wing back being the player of the season. So I hope Rasmus puts it on the board.
I hope Ahmed is young player of the season.
Yeah.
I
hope our attacking players shine.
I still think Mazraoui gets it.
Andy?
For now.
One word, Jarvis, play it.
For me, I think it will be Ugarte. I think he will show us something under Amorim. And what we have seen so far, especially on the road, I think he has thrived. And coming into this Amorim system, he knows how to play it. And I think he will become a fan favorite because of his tenacity and aggression and, constantly working hard. So I think he will be the player of the season for me.
Okay.
Kind of exciting, that you know what toys you're going to get for Christmas when you're a kid. You're excited for Sunday. So I want this and that. I want that. I want this. I want that on the shelf. Then you say you open it up. Oh God, what have I got?
I still get excited, Andy. I still get excited. And I hope that's answered your question, pal. Richie, again, we've just basically touched on this one. Do we think top 4 is achievable? I think most of us on the panel would say top 5 of the trophy would be a dream. Liverpool seem to be erratic. I think they're my pick for the title in a minute. Liverpool.
Not the blip yet. They're just living the dream. Yeah. Let's see what happens.
It'll be interesting to see. A lot of games to go. Yeah. Just before we go to
figured out. Slot is getting figured out. I don't believe Liverpool will win it. That's just me. Clip me. No Liverpool for me.
Yeah. Questions. Snog. Oh, fucking hell. Snog marrying a void between Jarvis and Nuruddin and me. Trev, you never fail to.
I'll pass on that question.
Yeah, it's a big pass, unfortunately, Trev, but thank you for that wonderful question. Final question of the evening. I'm going to give it to Nuruddin, but I would like your opinions as well, fellas. If you could change the result of one of 2 losses to Pep's teams, 2009 UCL final versus Barca, and I've got a theory on that one, or the 2023 FA Cup final versus Chelsea, which one would you choose?
You know what? That team deserved to win a Champions League final. I would go with that. You know why? They won a treble and nobody gives a damn. Nobody cares. It was a sweet beat. It was silent when they won a treble. I didn't hear F all around my way. So for me, we should have stopped them because we stopped Liverpool before. But damn it, with Fergie's football, that those teams deserve one or 2 more Champions Leagues, I think.
Yeah.
I've still not got over Leverkusen and Dortmund at home. I still sometimes get up and the ball's gone in Cantona with that defender, that German defender on the floor. I'm like, kick it, Eric. Get it in.
Was it Ricken? Was it Lars Ricken that did the damage that night against us?
I don't know. Well, we battered him.
We should have battered him. I'm sure Lars Ricken got it. I'll just quickly throw in mine. I think it's the 2009. I think Fergie will be absolutely.
He got it wrong. He got the tactics wrong.
Yeah, it'd be absolutely haunted. I think Fergie did.
And he said that, to be fair.
Jason Park. Yeah, if we played Park, we could well have won that game. So it's me. It's 2009. Jarvis.
Well, the thing with 2009, I think Barcelona was the better team at the time, and
That was
you know,
11.
they won it
No.
because
No, you're talking about 11. When they were the best peak team. That
They
was
were the best
11
team
at
by
Wembley.
miles in 11, yeah.
11, nobody's beating them.
no.
Oh, yeah,
2009, we
exactly.
should have beaten them.
2011, nobody's beating them.
Nobody's beaten Barca in 2011. Yeah.
No.
2009, we should have beaten them.
We should have beaten them.
I get them mixed up. Sorry.
They had
But,
Yaya Toure and a young, bloody, what's his name, who used to play for us, the Barcelona lad. They had Yaya Toure centre half, and they had injuries, and they had what's his name?
I know who you mean. He was married to Shakira. Oh,
PK.
PK, yeah.
PK.
An experienced PK and bloody Yaya Toure centre half, and we let them off the fucking hook.
Yeah, I would have definitely taken the 2009.
Yeah. And Andy, to finish off with?
It'd have to be the FA Cup final 2023, mate. So it's not. It still ranks with me, man. Because last May it was quite emotional for me. Broke down crying, and I was like, they can, you know what I mean. Losing it really hurt more. Like the players didn't give a shit for me on that day. They didn't. Yeah. Oh, it's like I saw Marcus Rashford crying, head on the floor, cry me a fucking river. I'm not fucking. You weren't interested. Fuck, you know what I mean? You've just not interested. None of them that day. None of it. If you had it, you would have done it, and you did it 12 months later, just because you were in trouble, in deep trouble. So 2023 hurts more than 2009.
Steph, you finished off with a brilliant question. Great debate. That's the Q&A done. Just to thank everybody who's tuned in. Thank you all for your questions. All brilliant questions as always. But when you've got a great panel of people like Nuruddin, Andy, and Jarvis to answer them, then the questions are always going to be superb. So thank you very much, guys. It's way over 400 you watched for a good 20-30% of the final part of the show. Please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. If you like what we're doing, over 400 you watch, if you like what you're listening to, then please like, subscribe, get notified. Come and join us. Come and get in the chat. How many's watching on Twitter, Jarvis?
We are at the moment 384 people watching us live on Twitter. We are 56 on MUFC Realist TV and 9 on Football Power Hour. So people, if you are watching us on Twitter, come over to YouTube and smash the like and interact in the chat.
And then, you guys, when you come over, if you've got any topics, subjects you want us to discuss, anyone who wants to get us on the show, just let us know, because, we're always want to listen.
I'm sure Sunday night everybody will be wanting to talk about after the game.
Absolutely. So, Jarvis, I will hand you back to close out the show.
Thank you. You did brilliant on the Q&A. It's been a great panel tonight with Mr. Structure and Nuruddin coming on, Andy Tate, and my partner in crime, Stu Woolley, as always, and a brilliant VAR room tonight with so many good questions. Stephanie K. Mack, Luan France, Trevor Wade, Day 147, Box, Neil Driscoll, Whistler, so many good comments. I wish I could read out and interact more with you guys, but we are deep in discussions, and this is how Jarvis's Corner is. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. We will be live next Monday, 9 p.m., probably discussing the game, first game of Ruben Amorim Ipswich. It's going to be a blast, and there will be so much more to talk about. So, guys, thank you for tuning in, and see you on the next. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.